Okay, let's open up our project file. You can find this project file in Gumroad and also in my Patreon page for those of you that want to follow along. We are going to be rigging this model, and in later videos we're gonna be UV unwrapping it, we're gonna be texturing it, we're gonna be adding a hair and all the little nifty little items we want so we can do our own custom model. So right now this model is currently in its besh mesh. It's also not fully done since we haven't applied our mirrors. The UVs are obviously just halfway. I did some minor edits to it. Now the geometry can change, and you should change it depending on how you want to rig your model. We're gonna doing this in AutoRig Pro today. We're gonna be rigging our model, and then we're gonna be seeing whether or not we're gonna need some modifications to the besh mesh and so on. So let's get this part started and start rigging our model with AutoRig Pro. Click on your model. All right, make sure that one's selected. You can press N to open up your M panel and find the AutoRig Pro tab. Within here, you're gonna look for AutoRig Pro Smart. This is gonna give us some nifty little interface, which is gonna make our rigging a whole lot easier. So let's click on that one, and you have two options. You can do full body or facials only. We want our full body for this particular project. Okay, so we have this current interface. So we're gonna click on Add Neck. So we're gonna place this little ball where our neck starts, right there where the collarbone is. Next one is gonna be the chin. So you're gonna grab this one and find the chin. It's right there. The shoulders, you grab this one, select where your shoulders are located. At wrist, and there you go, the little blue loop. The spine. So the spine goes here in the bottom, but I find it to be more appropriate to be like right in the middle of like where your butt cheeks are at, not directly there at the bottom, so about there. Also keep in mind that that is going to be the pivot point of your legs. So if you put it too low, your pivot point is going to be more shearing, and well, this is gonna be the problem you're mostly gonna find when you move the leg up and down. So be aware of that. So later on you can redo this and fix it around. Now let's add the ankles, which is also gonna be here. It's gonna be the bottom, this blue loop. And here we can select how many fingers. If your model has more than 5 or none, if you have a pretty stylized character, you can reduce it. Also, here we can have the skeleton type. The AutoRig Pro default is perfect for models that are going to be staying within blenders. I want this model to be compatible with Unreal Engine, so I'm going to be picking Unreal Engine 5 Nanny Queen. So this is going to give us the bones that Unreal Engine is going to be expecting for you to easily move from Blender into Unreal Engine. You can do that with pretty much any other kind of armature, but this particular setup makes it pretty darn seamless. Okay, so the spine count, leave it as 6. That's what it's going to be expecting. Net count, twist counts, those are going to be good. Now, if you do not want to add any facial rigs, you can pretty much finish it here. I want to add some facial bones to this, so later on we can easily have some facial molds into like MMB or any other kind of program. So having a facial rig is going to make that much easier for us. So here we're going to press add facials. It's going to give us this nifty little interface. You can press 1 so you can go into front view. And this bones, you're going to go here and going to press them into your mouth. So find your mouth shape, and this is where those bones are going to be. One thing I like to do in this part is have my toggle on face. So that way you can have these guys and they will snap on into the front of the face and they're not actually way in the back. So let's grab that one, move them to your proper location. So move those, and I'm gonna put them right where I have a vertex endpoint. So like maybe right there. So this one's go there, this one goes there, and yeah, let's put this one more over here, more like keep it nice and straight. And yeah, that one goes there. Okay, so we have one here that's going to be their chin, and down here, I don't make it confuse that with that one. You have two little ones there. Okay, this one right here goes into your cheeks. So this one's going to give you the puffy cheeks, and this one's going to be for the nose. Put it right around there in the tip of the nose. Press 1 to go back to view. And then this one is going to be your ear. So grab that one, place it here, and press that one, place it pretty much around there. And this one, I haven't found pretty much any error, so you can put it like anywhere you want. I just like to place it like on the long side of it. So it's gonna give you a circle interface, so you can move and scale the ear however you want. So the real position of this bone really doesn't matter. Now this one's gonna be the eyes. Go here. I'll press scale on X to make them wider. Okay, as on set, so you can make them shorter. And now we can select them. I'm gonna be selecting this loop here on the outside as the main one. Okay, so here, here, here. And this is where the bones are going to be pretty much selected. Maybe these ones are too high. And maybe this one around here. All right, so roughly around there. And then these ones are going to be for your eyebrows. So for the most part, there won't do much in our current model, which she doesn't have any eyebrows mesh, but here's where we're gonna be putting, and then we're gonna be weight painting it to those items later on. All right, so once you see your model and she's the way you want them, you can now select the eyeballs. How many eyeballs meshes do you have? If they're both separate objects, you're gonna press 2, or in my case, I only have 1, which is the anime eyes. They're right here. Okay, teeth and tongue. I don't believe I added any to this model yet, so we're gonna skip that one. We can add them later on. Okay, so once you're set, you can press OK. That brings you back, and now we can press go. This will now generate a what do you call this? A meta rig is what AutoRig Rigify calls it. So this one, you're gonna see and edit any errors. For the most part, it has always worked perfectly for like first time around. But for instance, right here, we have a little error where it didn't find the actual elbow. So we need to move this section into the elbow section. For here, I want to have my snapping place on volume. So you place it right in the center of the mesh and not on the surface of any object. So grab that one and find the little loop cut, which is right here for your elbow. And as you can see, it placed this joint directly in the middle of the mesh. So you're gonna find any, let's press to your side view. So you're gonna find any bone and adjust it accordingly. So we want to also change that one just a bit lower. So the ankle, it's gonna be like down here, and this is gonna be the toes. The toes, we want them to start to bend right here, and the tip can be roughly there. Now these 3 little ones, they work as when you twist your ankle. So make sure they're not too far out, and they're roughly around, for instance, this one we can probably pull it more in. This one should be like roughly around the middle. Yeah, so roughly around the size of your foot. That's where they're gonna like tip from one side of the other. If they're too far out, you end up like twisting your ankle, but then your leg kind of flies up in the air when you do the twist. I'll see if I can remember and show you once we have our rig set up. All right, so find any errors. This one, I might want to push it a bit higher. And right here, so we have the little twist to it there. The neck bone and the head bone. Okay, so that one seems okay. And that one goes a little bit to the top. So these are the facial bones. They're roughly exactly where you want them. These 3 ones are your tongue bones. And for the most part, for anime models, you might want them to be smaller. And like somewhere around there. Okay, so these two ones are your cheekbones, so they're good as where they are. These two ones you see there, they're gonna be controlling your teeth bones, so you can move them around and kind of like puff up your teeth. So make sure they're also like roughly around the middle of your mouth and not too low, not too high. Okay, and everything else seems to be fine. This is gonna be some controlling bones. Your eyebrows, which seems like I put them like way too high, so we can fix that. You can put them right here. Oh, right there. Make sure they didn't get teleported there in the background. And this is going to be the controller for your eyebrows, so that can stay there. Everything else seems to be good. Let's look at the fingers. And here in the fingers, what I found out that is best is for this joint not to be directly in line with your fingers. You want to have this one like a bit higher up. So let me put it here. Grab this one and let's go. Okay, so that's that one. Let's put it right here. Let's go for this one and also put it right here. And lastly, this one. And that one goes in that joint. That one's good. That goes maybe around there. Okay, and this one there, probably around there. So that one goes there, that one goes up here, and that one can stay exactly where it is. Seems good. And these three big ones are gonna be turned into some control bones. We can squish and squash your hand. So pretty much you can leave them as is unless they're way too high up. And I see that this bone, it is too far up for our wrist. So this is we're gonna be the pivot point for our wrist. Let's move it down up tad. So maybe run here. That probably means we do want to move this one slower. Let's move them into this line. So right there. Okay, so that one's good. Our spine seems to be good. Maybe I can add a little bit of bend to it. Okay, so let's do our rig. So from this point, once you have your full model the way you want to, right, you can press this button and it's gonna match to your rig. Now you can also add more limbs at this point and other features if you wish to have more. You can just click on a bone and then add whatever limb you want and it'll add a new controller, which is pretty nifty about this feature. But in our case, our model is going to be a pretty basic humanoid. So just as is, we're gonna be pressing mesh to rig. All right, so this now created a control rig, but it is currently not weight painted. It is currently at the exact same shape and location as our metal rig was located at. So now we need to do some weight painting. So we have this little tab here within AutoRig Pro, which is the skin in. And here you need to select the mesh and then your control rig. Let's jump out of post mode, control tab, click on our mesh, and then shift click on our control rig. So for the most part, the normal Blender's native weight painting works very well with fingers and facial rigs. And the bottle heat diffuse works well for the full body rig, or when Blender gives you an error that it cannot find certain weight paintings, then the normal native one's not gonna work, but bottle heat diffuse is pretty much has always worked for me. So let's go with the heat fuse and press bind. And okay, gives an error, but it was something else. Okay, so let's go click on our armature and control tab to go to post mode, and let's test out our deformation. Okay, so the important part is here. Okay, so right here, exactly what you want to have with the, let's turn that off, the native weight painting. If this works right off the bat for you, you're pretty much set. If you want to have a more control rig, for instance, if your model has clothing and then it gives you a error, weight paints cannot be found, then you should be using the voxel heat diffusing. Okay, so let's grab that and pretty much let's check out our deformation for our model. So the legs look good. Oh, okay. So this is the part where I was talking about in the little 3 joints. So you move this one to press G and you like twist. If those 3 little bones were too far out, you end up pretty much doing this, then twisting, and then your leg kind of like pops out when you move things. But if they're pretty much in the same distance as your leg, your little pivots, they tend to work the proper way. So be aware of that. And for the legs, like I was saying, the little pivot point of your leg joints, you wanted to have it pretty much right here in the middle of the buttocks. That way you have this nice little deformation and without a pinching or pulling too much. So yes, right off the bat, it seems that we will not be using the voxel heat diffuse for this project. It does not seem to be necessary. So we have that. Okay, so now we have some bones that are like underneath the mesh. So let's fix that and make sure that it's visually on top of our mesh. Let's go here to your right panel. Right, so let's go to our, show me project data, viewport display. So right here, we're gonna press in front. It's gonna pop out the bones that are currently hidden inside the mesh, and they're gonna be visually visible no matter where you're at in the viewport. So if you don't like that, you can have that off. But since sometimes we want to grab, for instance, the fingers and the actual meshes are underneath, you really want to have that on front. Okay, so here, let's grab a little finger joints, and those seem to be perfectly. And this is the, let me go press space bar. Okay, so this is the reason why I wanted to have that joint higher up in your rig. It creates a smoother bend, like a more natural. Now, if you had this bone right here, it will tend to like shear off your finger. So you can try it out and kind of see what I mean. But relatively, you want to have that one joint up there, and then this subsequent joints as needed. Okay, so those 3 joints that were up there, they have these nice little control here. Okay, so that one's that one. Okay, so those are good. Let's check out R. Okay, so those are good. We haven't weight painted the eyes yet. So that's the reason why they're not following. And yeah, we have not made any mouth, teeth, or tongue yet. So that's gonna be in the next project. So this 3 bones control your tongue, and these ones will control your teeth, and these top ones are going to control your top teeth. So you can change them. We should have also like probably move them down. One thing we will need to change for our AutoRig Pro is this. It's currently set up for humanoid models, which their eyes are actually spherical. So this little control where it closes your eyelids, it looks very bad for anime models, which we want them to go straight down. So let's fix that right now. Let's go Control R and reset our model by pressing Alt R, Alt G, and Alt S for scale. Now she's back to our rest pose, and now let's fix these little control rigs. Okay, so this ones, and those are going to be under our bone constraints. Those are going to be under a different I said. So let's, okay, so I think these are the ones. Okay, yeah, so these are the ones. So these 2 bones are the ones you want to modify and change their location. Because right now their pivot point is right there, and they're creating this, which is not ideal. At this point, we also want to toggle on our X mirror. So whatever we do to one side, the other side's going to do it. This makes things symmetrical and easier for us to work when we have symmetry enabled. So let's grab that one. and let's us go to edit mode. One other thing that I'm gonna be pointing out is that you are able to update this rig into like further versions. If you want to add skirts or any other kind of joints, let me go here. So we have this one particular rig, and this is your meta rig that is AutoRig Pro is gonna refer back to, and then any subsequent updates is gonna look for this and regenerate your control rig, the one with those little wireframe boxes. So what we're going to be doing with the eyes is going to be let's say temporary. So if you ever update the rig, you're going to lose this information that we are going to be currently doing. So this eyes, if you update the rig, will come back to this position. So keep that aware for in the future. If you update it and then it comes wonky, that means you need to redo these steps. All right, so let's do those steps. Let's go to our side view, go to edit mode, and I want to move this kind of like horizontal, and this one as well. Kind of put them around the size of the eyelids. So there's the top corner and bottom corner. Since we did our X mirror, we did both of them at once. And if we toggle on our interface here, now they're pivoting from that location up there, right? And we want these ones to go straight down, not pivot in a particular angle. So we're gonna go here and go press that one and click on that one and kind of like also move them horizontal. And then this one, we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna go horizontal. I'm gonna move this one higher up. They don't need to be that further out. Now we have them right there, right? Okay, so now we're gonna edit our modifications, our constraints for our bones. All right, so this one we want to control it to follow on the z-axis and not in a rotational axis. So we need to modify those bones, the constraints. So let's go back to our layers, click on that layers, and then modify this ones. So they're on their copy constraints. And then, so copy rotation, we can turn that off. Okay, so let's turn this on, shift select, so we can have them both on at the same time. Right, so we want to follow our axis going down. So we're gonna do a copy location right there. Okay, so we're gonna select the rig, and then we're gonna select the bone. So here you can read the bone right here, or you can just click on it and copy this name, go back into here, go here and paste that name, and we want that. So we just want to copy the Z axis. So and now it's doing this. All right, and we want to go to under local space, so that way it stays in its current location. Right? That way it won't get teleported up there in space. So now it is following the way it's supposed to, and now we need to do the exact same thing for the rest of the bones. So all 4 bones at once. So instead of getting rid of the constraint, you just press a little eye icon and they will kind of shut down. But if you ever want them back, they're going to be available there in the future. So let's grab that one, toggle those off, copy location, turn those 2 axes, select the rig, click on that one. Let's go for the bone name, control copy that, go back to our constraints, click on that one and bone constraints, and let's change to local space, and test it out. Okay, so that looks better. And here we're gonna have to do some weight painting so it doesn't do this thing like too ugly. So modify that later on. Let's do the exact same thing for that one. Let's turn those off, copy location, select the rig, let's grab that one, bone, control copy, the constraints on this bone. Let's do local space, turn those axes off, press that one, and then I'll just do a test. Okay, so that one works. Let's lastly do this one, turn those off. Let's add copy location, turn those off, select the rig, local space. All right, get the name of that bone. Control copy, back to constraints, and paste, select the bone, and make sure you have the right space selected. All right, so now we have those eyelids to work the way you want them to. And now with some weight painting, you can easily adjust those bones to. Okay, so let's see, do we need to anything else that we need to adjust? Seems like currently we can add one new modifier to the body that makes things a whole lot easier. Right, so here we want to add a corrective smooth. All right, so here, so let's grab that one. So what this little modifier does is kind of like it works like a subdivider, kind of like the way it like moves your vertex around to make them smoother in places we're gonna have sharp edges. So like in these little parts where let me see if I can show this. Can I toggle it off? All right, so like in these are areas where we have like a pretty spiky locations, it's gonna like soften it up. Now here you might want to tone it down or tone it up, because sometimes it's like it's way too much. Or you can selectively pick where you want to smooth it using some vertex groups. So here, let's add a new group. Let's go smooth, right? And let's go to some weight paint and start weight painting in areas where we want to have it smooth and places where we don't. So here we can select smooth here, and now she's back into her read point. And let's go about there. So we want to add some smoothing here. Probably not some in the face. Maybe something around there where we're gonna have in some deformations. Like maybe not something in the back. So this way you have a nice little control where that smoothing is going to be, whether you want it pretty light or pretty harsh. So let's go here, let's go to weight paint, and post mode. And now you can have a control over that smooth. But just be aware that this is a Blender only feature. It will not carry on if you export the model to Unreal Engine or any other program. Okay, so now let's add the eyes to our rig, because currently if you move them around, they are static, they don't move. Let's select our layer that has our deforming bones, which is this one right here in the back. And the eye bone, we want to parent them to, I believe it's this one. Okay, so let's go out, select that, and shift select our parents, that are bones, and Control P. Now, you don't want it to be with automatic weight, since you have a bunch of bones in the face, so the eyes are going to be scattered all over the place. So we're going to do some manual weight painting, since they're going to be directly into one bone, makes it quite easy. So we want to pick with empty groups. So now the eyes are parented to the rig, but they're not currently weight painted. So let's fix that. So let's select our bones and select our mesh, Control P to get these really well, and we want to select weight paint. Within here, you can brush and paint them all, but since they're all entirely one, so you're gonna be Control click the proper eye bone, and make sure here on the right side that vertex group it is selected. We're gonna go to edit mode, select that particular eye, right? And now we're gonna do with assign. This is going to weight paint the full eye to that one vertex group, which is controlled by that one bone. So we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. Click on that one and click those, select all the eyes. Make sure you have the proper eye vertex selected and assign it to 100 or 1. Right, make sure you go to post mode and they're fully red. We're gonna go back into object mode, click on our bones. Let's go to our main layer. And now we can move the eyes and they're pivoting exactly where you want to. All right, so one other bone that you might want to change its location, it is the eye bone. As you can see here, they're pivoting kind of like an odd way. All right, and that's not exactly what you want for, let's say, anime eyes. So here we can select back those bones, click on that one, and you can see that one right there. Right, so here we want to move this bone back to have this little tip at the back end of your eye mesh. So let's go G here and kind of put him right here, like roughly on there. So your pivot point, it's gonna be in this side. So the eye is gonna move in left to right from this pivot instead of being here in the middle, since it's a flat eye and not a spherical eye. So let's test that out. Click on that one and let's move that one. And now, as you can see, the eyes are more perfectly suited for anime eyes. They don't pivot exactly in place, but more of what you expect. So let's check the render and turn that off. Okay. So with this, now we have our model fully rigged for the next steps to come. Okay, so with this, let me call it a video, and I will catch you guys next time.